Hello and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name is Mary and welcome to another Craft Day Monday, where every Monday I post a new video. In today's video, I am going to be showing you how I made my beach themed decor. This is what we're going to be making today, only we're going to make it a tad bit smaller, but yeah, this is what we're going to make. So I'm just going to go ahead and set this out of the way. I've already did one video where y'all seen me do the lighthouse, so I won't be doing that on camera because I already have a video for that. But I will be showing you how I make the little houses, and we're just going to get into everything you're going to need. So, of course, you're going to need scrap wood, and I have some here. You're going to be needing some wooden dowels. I have some here. Wood glue. An old paintbrush. I am going to be using sawdust for my sand. Glitter, optional. Paintbrushes. You're going to be needing paint if you decide to paint it, and the color paint decides on whatever color you want to make it. So I don't want this video to be super long, so we're just going to go ahead and jump right into the video. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera down so y'all can see what I'm doing. So we have our scrap wood here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take a generous amount of hot glue. And you can use wood glue, but for this video, I am going to be going with hot glue because it dries much faster than wood glue. So we have our wood glue, and I'm just going to turn this around. Very careful not to burn my fingers. And then we're just going to stick this down where we want it to be. And I'm just going to put it here, and I'm just going to put a little bit of pressure. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our wood glue and that old paintbrush that we mentioned. I'm making sure this is open. Just going to brush this off. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to squeeze some wood glue on, and you're going to take your old paintbrush, because this is what's going to hold the glue into place. And you know what? I don't normally use a paintbrush. I'm keeping this 100. I'm just going to go in and do it like I normally do. I normally go in with my finger. Why? Because I don't mind getting dirty. It's glue and it'll wash right off. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just going to go in with my finger because, as I mentioned before, it's only glue. It's going to wash right off. And this is going to save me some time from trying to go down, trying to just manually rub that around with that paintbrush. So once you do that, you're going to go ahead and you're going to stick your lighthouse where you want it to be. So I am going to stick mine here. And we're just going to go ahead and let that dry. And then I'm going to take one of my other houses, and I'll try to turn it this way so y'all can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to put this house here. And then we're going to take our other house, and I am going to stick this back here just a little bit. So I want that there. Now I'm just going to take some water and clean off my finger. And I have paper towel here. So now I'm just going to turn this back so I can see from my end what I'm doing. And I am just going to take my sawdust, and we're just going to sprinkle this all over, because this is going to represent the sand. And I want to turn this down to make sure y'all can see. So I'm just going to just toss this on here. And we're just going to go around the whole base and put the sand all over the place, even in the back. Because this is a beach. And it's going to get messy, but that's part of crafting. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this around the lighthouse and grab some that's already down. Now, this is where it gets messy because we're just going to dust off some of that extra sand. This is why we put the glue down, so it can catch most of the sand. And then I'm just going to go through here and we're just going to clean this up. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and brush this off. And if you don't want a mess, all you have to do is put down wax paper, and then that part will be taken care of. So now I'm just going to take my hand and we're just going to rake up this extra sawdust. I'm going to set this down. And since I didn't glue that, I didn't use hot glue for that. So now I'm going to have to allow that to dry. Normally, I would have stuck my lighthouse and my houses down with hot glue so they wouldn't move, but I didn't in this video. Okay, so now that we have, I'm just going to move this over. So now that we have our sand in place, this is what it looks like. Now we're going to go ahead and paint the water. So you're going to grab a paintbrush, and I'm just going to turn it this way. And I'm going with, I don't even know what this simple paint is that we got from Lowe's, but we're going to go with it. Actually, yeah. So we're going to go ahead and I am going to go ahead and paint on the water. And I don't know if you can see this, but I took a pencil and I traced there. And actually, yeah, let's just go ahead and get the water painted on. And you may have to do a couple coats. And I most likely won't do that on camera because, as I mentioned before, I don't want the video to be super long. I'm not sure how people feel about watching long videos. I don't really care for watching a video that's over an hour long. Maybe that's just me. Because when it gets to be over an hour long, I feel like I'm watching a movie. So, yep, we're just going to continue to go, and I'm just going to go ahead and we're just going to go ahead and dab the paint on. This way this gives it a little bit of a texture. And then I'll go over this again. And I'm just going to go all the way out to the end. Because this represents our water. And then we're going to go ahead and paint the bottom. And like I said, you're going to make a mess. It's fine. I don't care about messes. They wipe right up. But if you want to keep from making a mess, you can always set this on top of wax paper or just regular paper, any kind of paper, if you don't want to make a mess. And it doesn't matter to me about the mess. So basically, I'm just going over it. And I'll just take a wet paper towel and clean up the paint that's already on my desk. So now I'm just coming over here and doing the same thing to this side. And we're also paint the back, but we're not going to do that right now. Okay. So now we have that. I'm just going to dip my paintbrush, my paper towel in some water. And we're just going to wipe up that paint that we spilled, or that we got on the desk. We're just going to wipe it off. And there we have it. Now I'm going to go over this again with some more of that paint. And don't try not to dab your brush off. Just kind of keep it, let it hold as much paint as it can. And then I am going to sprinkle a little different colored glitter right on top of this wet paint, so it will give our water a little detail. And also, as I mentioned before, I'm not making this perfectly perfect because I want the I want to dab it on like this. That way we get a thicker coat. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. There we go. Because I want it to be like wavy, so I'm not exactly wiping my paint off. I'm basically, let's slide this back. I'm basically just sticking my brush in the paint, picking up a ton of paint, and just dabbing it on here. But this is just the way I do it. You don't have to do this way. You can actually do it whichever way you're comfortable. And if you're not comfortable with a mess, then don't make one. Okay. Now I am going to grab my glitter. And I got two different kinds here. And I have to pop it open because I just bought it. So it's not yet popped open. And I cannot get that, but it's fine. So we're just gonna, I'm just gonna go ahead and just dust on some glitter. Now, I am gonna take my brush, a popsicle stick, and I'm just gonna spread that around. So it's not so thick in one spot. I'm just going around. Okay. And then we're gonna go in with our next color. And I'm just going to put a little bit in my hand. And this is what it looks like. And I'm just going to sprinkle it in here because this is just going to give it a little shimmer. Now, grab that popsicle stick and we're just going to smooth it out. Just like this. And I'm just going to get a little bit more. All right. Set that to the side. I'm going to back this up, and we're going to grab, just going to clean up our mess that we made. And I have a little waste can sitting right next to me. So there we have that. So this is what we have so far. This is what it looks like. So now I am going to go ahead and do another house and show y'all how it's done. So what I did, I'm just going to stick this back here. So what I did for my house is I took a piece of scrap wood and I had my husband cut it at an angle. And this is our roof, and we're just going to hot glue that into place. I had him to cut this with his saw because my saw can't do that, and he doesn't like for me to mess with his big saw because I've already been cut, and yeah, it's not fun. So here's our house. Now, this is where you decide what color you want your house to be. I think for me, I am going to go with blue, this blue that I already have here, mainly because it's right in front of me and I don't have to get up and hunt for another color. So what we're going to do is, first of all, let's grab some black paint, and I have some here, and we're just going to paint the roof black. So I went ahead and painted the roof black. Set this out of the way. And I'm going to go ahead and use this color blue and paint the house. And like I mentioned before, you can have fun with it. You can make these houses any color you want to. These are just some colors that I had sitting in my crafting room already without me having to go out and buy more paint, because paint is so hard to find right now. So I went with what we already had here at home. And yeah. So I'm basically just going to go ahead and paint the other side. And I am going to go ahead and use hot glue to glue this one in place. So yeah, I'm just going to finish painting this. Like this. And I'm going to come back and go over the front. I'm going to put my brush in water, and we're going to set our paint to the side, and we're going to bring our house back. So here's the time where we look and see where we want it. But before I do that, I am going to go ahead and set this to the side and let that dry, because we got some more stuff that we need to do to that. But in the meantime, let's grab that wood glue, and right here, this area here, we're going to go ahead and put some more. This is going to be more sand, or more the beach look. So I am just going to go ahead. And actually, I'm just going to go ahead and stick that house right there. And let that go ahead and dry. And now I'm just going to go ahead with my sand. With my hot glue. And we're just going to go around the whole base. And we're going to do very carefully, because we do not want to get the sand in the water. Normally, I would have let this dry completely before I moved on to the next start, but I can't do that because this video would be forever. And this is just, I made the first one that I made. I keep it in my bathroom. It's actually a night light. Because I like to get up in the middle of the night and I don't believe in turning on no lights. But having a nice little one in the bathroom, especially in the guest bathroom, helps. Not that we have anybody over right now at the moment, but yeah. So I'm just going to do this. Now this part I'm just going to do very carefully because as I mentioned, I do not want, I'm set that to the side for a minute. I do not want the sand to get in the water. So yeah, I'm just going to take that's why I'm using a very little amount. And I'm just going to rake that extra off so it can go ahead and dry. And I'm just going to use my fingers. And if we do end up with a little bit in the water, it'll be fine because we can just go over it once it dries. And I guess there's nothing wrong with a little bit of sand in the water. I mean, there is a little sand in the water at an actual beach. So yeah, that wouldn't be too bad of a thing if we actually got a little sand in there. And we're almost done with this. So I'm just going to put a little more there. There we go. Turn this around so I can see it. Now I'm just going to go ahead. As I mentioned, since I got this down, we're just going to go ahead and work with it. So let me go ahead and clean up my little area. Get some of this sand and all this other stuff out of my way. We're just going to stick that right back in there. Now, let's go ahead and do a door. And I thought I had a black popsicle stick, but it's fine. It's fine. We're just going to take our paint. Let's grab this black paint, bring this back, and we're going to go ahead and paint our door. Because I want the doors to all be black. So we're going to we painted that, and we're just going to set that and let it dry. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get our saw. That way we can cut a little step. And as promised, I told y'all that next time I'm working with a little craft sticks, when I'm doing a project that calls for a small craft stick, we're going to go ahead and use the saw for it. So basically what I'm doing is I am going to go ahead and get this open. And it's awkward looking at it this way. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to just slide this back a little bit because I don't want the step to be super huge. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and push this on. And we're just going to take our saw and that's it. Here's our little step that we have here. Excuse my hands. They're blue from painting. And we're just going to go ahead and put our step there. So I am just going to grab some hot glue, put a little bit of hot glue on this, and then we're just going to stick this right here. And now I am going to take my popsicle stick. I'm going to grab my cutters. Grab my paintbrush because I obviously didn't let this dry long enough, but it's fine. Just going to go over it with some paint down here. Now I'm going to grab some, I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue on the back. And we're just going to stick this right here. There we go. Put this in here to get that clean. Now we have a white popsicle stick that I painted. And I'm just going to trim this up a little bit. And we're going to go ahead. Put that there. And this is going to be our window. So we're going to take some black paint. So I'm going to grab my small paintbrush and a paper towel. And we're just going to take our black paint and we're just going to make a black triangle right in the middle. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and glue this on. Let's cut this little piece off. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of hot glue here. And we're just going to stick that right down here. Okay. Now this next part, what I'm about to do is just something that I have always done. And I know there's another way to do it, but this is what works for me. I take my white paint, I grab a pencil, I dip it in my white paint, and I draw on the window details because it gives me a thin coat to work with. And then we're just going to go ahead and do the other side. Just take this and draw it right through. And then I just wipe my pencil off and stick it back in my container. And now we're going to go ahead and grab that same paintbrush and we're going to clean it off a little bit. Well, obviously not that one because I just broke it. Lovely. So now we're going to take some of this gray paint and we're just going to paint our step. Going to make it gray like we did all the other ones. So just going to paint that. Here. And here. And now we're going to clean that off. Set this to the side. And yeah, it's gonna get messy. I got paint on my hands, but you know what? I don't care. So now we're gonna bring our house back, our beach theme back. I'm just gonna clean up a little area, grab some hot glue, put some hot glue right on the bottom, and we're just gonna go ahead and stick this right here. I think this is a good place for it. Now I'm going to bring my little saw back because I need to make some steps. And I have to turn it towards me. And I'm sorry if y'all can't see this, but I need to turn it this way so I can actually see what I am doing. So we're just going to go ahead and make some cuts. All right, and that's it for that. So I have 3 little steps here. And what I'm going to do is put some hot glue on the bottom. And we're just going to stick them right down off in the sand. And I got them going at an angle. So okay, let's try this again. And they're actually gonna stick because there's already glue underneath there, so it's fine. All right. And this is what we have. The next thing we need to do is add our little flagpole. And all I did was took a wooden dowel and some fabric, and I just kind of just hot glued everything together. And I'm just cleaning off a little spot right here. And I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue right down off in there. And I used a good amount, and we're just going to stick this right in there, and I'm just going to hold this here for a minute and give this time to dry so it don't fall. Now let's get this other stuff out of the way. Now the last thing we need to do is we have our rock, and I think I'm just going to put my rock here, and I'm going to go ahead and hot glue it. And we're just going to stick our rock right here. Now, while this is still, let's get some of this. Okay, so now I'm going to take my paintbrush and this white paint, and I'm going to try to turn this around so y'all can see. So I am going to take my hot glue gun first, and I am just going to go ahead and put some hot glue up around this rock just like this. Grab another glue gun. A glue stick, I mean. And we're just going to put a little more. So now I am going to take my hot glue gun, and I am going to go around the base of this. Turn it, and we're just going to continue to take that hot glue gun, and we're just taking this glue and making a border to separate the sand and the water. And I'm going to do it again. Just going to go around it because I want it to be a little bit thicker. I'm going to grab another glue stick, and we're just going to continue to go around here, just like this. Just go all the way around. And this is going to separate the two. And then we're going to let that dry. And while we waiting for that to dry, I'm going to try to take this, so I'm going in with my white paint, and I'm just dipping it in here just a very little, and I am just going to give myself some waves. I'm just going to go around just like that. I'm not using very much paint at all. So we're just going to go in. And now I'm just going around the base of it just like this, and just giving some little detail here like this. So I'm just going to continue to dip. Okay. Now, where we did the, where we took the hot glue around the base, now we're just going to take our paint and we're just going to go in and we're just going to go and give this a little, just to separate the two, just like this with the paint. And this is all we're doing. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to paint the rock. I want this to look like the waves are splashing up on the rock. So we have some of that, and I'm going to go in with a little bit of this blue. And there we have it. And that is basically it for this project. I'm going to go ahead and clean up my area before I hold it up to show the finished project, to see what it looks like all finished. And this is what it looks like. I'll turn this up so y'all can see the lighthouse part. So yeah, this is what it looks like. The light actually works. It wouldn't do me no good to turn it on right now because I don't know if y'all would be able to see that on camera, but I'll go ahead and try. It helps if I flick it on the right way. Okay, hold on. Let me hold this up so I can, okay, I was basically trying to turn it on the wrong way, but I'll cut this light off real quick, and that's what it looks like. Excuse my hands. They're covered in paint, but as you can see, it does light up. So let's turn that back on, and let's turn this off. So we have that turned back off. But this is what it looks like. I did do a little things different than I did this one. If you want to add, let's move this one. So let's set this one to the side so it can continue to dry. And we'll talk about this one. So here's the one already dry. Now, if you want to make the little lifesaver, all I did was took some letters, and which was basically the O in the letters, and I just used that out of there. And these little pieces right here, these are just the thin wooden dowels. That's all that is. So yeah, that is it. That is it for this video. Here's the one that we just made right here. If you like this video, please give me a like and a thumbs up. Please feel free to share with your friends. If you have not yet hit that, let me try this again. If you are not already subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can become part of my YouTube family, and ring the bell. That way you'll get a notification every time I post a new video. And with that being said, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch another one of my videos where we made this cute little beach scene nightlight decor. So yeah, with that being said, thank you so much for taking the time out, and I hope you all have a nice night. Bye.